and looking at the key areas of target operating model when implementing IT asset management or just focusing on the ham part. Obviously, we've got the processes, technology, people, organization, vendors, and key performance indicators, the KPIs. Now, obviously, a target operating model doesn't just look like that circle in the corner. You build it out with the processes bits, with the detailed information, technology information, etc. But this is just to kind of give you an overview on what you should be including when building a target operating model. First of all, processes. For those of you that don't know what a process is, it's basically providing the guidance, the guardrails, if you like, and the governance to all the stakeholders on how to manage assets throughout their life cycle. There can be so many ITAM processes within an organization, but make sure that they're all concise, they're all clear, they're easy to follow. There's no point in doing a Visio flow that has arrows pointing everywhere and loops and boxes, and it just overwhelms people when they're looking at it. So make sure that your processes are clear, concise, easy to follow, and that a nice test that I like to do is to get a non-tech person to look at the process. If they understand it, we are good to go. We are golden. We are nailed on. Obviously, accompanying processes, you've got your work instructions, your racing matrices, your standard operating procedures, but we'll go over that in another session because there's a lot of documentation you can build to really kind of help you as an ITAM function and your stakeholders, so that not everyone's coming to you all the time saying, what's the process for this, how do I do that? Make sure you've got the documentation so that it takes that kind of pressure off of you. Next up, we're looking at the technology in the TOM. So what technology is required for discovering, inventorying all of the assets within your hardware asset management scope. A key thing to mention here as well is about the integration with your asset management database. So if you've got multiple different inventory sources, can they all plug in to your centralized AMDB so that you've got all of that visibility? You can see the usage, the users, locations, all of that good stuff. So make sure that when you're building your TOM and looking at the technologies, that they can all point into a single central source of truth, which is your AMDB. People, when building the TOM, I like to do kind of like a separate people matrix, if you like. So who are the key stakeholders involved as part of our ham processes, our activities, our strategy, etc. These include, all of the key department heads. So, for example, security department head, HR, finance, procurement, service management, even, people management as well. Making sure that they're all in that kind of people matrix. And then also that people matrix will feeding nicely into a RACI matrix. So who's responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed throughout your hardware lifecycle and your processes, so that everyone knows what their job is the long and short of it. Everyone knows what's expected of them, what role they play in managing hardware throughout its lifecycle. Even the end users have a role to play here because they're the ones that have the equipment and use it every day. They're the ones that could drop it and break it. They're the ones that are going to report if it's slow, if software's not compatible, if there are issues, etc. So people are a hugely important part when implementing IT asset management, hardware asset management. And like we said before, culture change, people management, don't underestimate the time and effort this will take when you're implementing new changes. So all I'm going to say, I'm sure there are grown-ups within your organization, but yeah, just it might surprise you as to how hard that sales pitch is to get people to follow your new ways of working. I'll leave it there. I'll let you uncover all of that fun stuff. Next up, we're looking at the organization. One of the key ways to make sure that hardware asset management gets the visibility and the support from not only your main primary sponsor for HAM or ITAM is how it relates to your organizational goals and business objectives. Something that's an open goal at the moment for hardware asset management in particular. It relates to optimization of hardware, budget support as well, because budget are being cuts everywhere. IT asset disposition, not only for getting money back, but also the buzzword green IT and sustainability. Every organization at the moment seems to have a green IT initiative. They want to be more sustainable. They want to be seen doing good for the planet, doing good for the environment, hugging a tree, planting trees, doing whatever. HAM in particular can help a lot with that. So when you're building your target operating model, really make sure you plug into what the overall goals are for the organization. You can typically find these on like your intranet or your SharePoint pages, or even the your organization, website. Having a look at the strategy, the ethos and the motto and the goals and all that good stuff. And then try and find similarities as to how hardware asset management can help, and really plug that in when building your TOM. And also, even if you end up building a business case as well, really focus on how hardware asset management can help the organization achieve its overall goals and objectives. Vendors also obviously play a key part within hardware asset management. So here we're looking at what vendors are involved. We're talking about, from a procurement standpoint, maybe a third-party repairs, maybe you've even got third-party ITAM. I mean, for example, at the moment in your ITAM, I would count as a third-party vendor. I'm having an impact on your IT asset management function and your hardware asset management, a positive one, I hope. But yeah, I would count as a vendor. So making sure that you include consultants, ITAM managed services, any kind of ITAD partners that you have, any disposal partners, etc. Map all of those out so that you can, again, like with the people one, show that matrix, all the vendors, what their roles are, what their responsibilities are, what you're relying on them to help achieve when you're implementing HAM, and building up that target operating model. And even in the future, who do you want? What vendors do you want to work with? Do you want a new ITAM tool? Do you want a dedicated fixed asset HAM tool, for example? Build that into your target operating model. You can put that into your strategy and you can try and work your way up to achieving that. Obviously, that costs money, budget constraints, I know, but yeah, just build it into your dream anyway, and build it into your target operating model, and then your subsequent HAM plan for the year. Again, something we'll touch upon later. And finally, your key performance indicators, your KPIs. I know you've got some of these for SAM already. Implement them for HAM too. So how many assets have you hardware refreshed over the past month, the past 3 months, 6 months, a year? How much tech debt do you have left? How's that decreased? How much money have you got back through ITAD? What's the kind of lead time like on a user requesting a hardware to you deploying it and delivering it? There's a number of KPIs that you can create for hardware asset management to show its effectiveness, to show areas of improvement, and to show areas of potential maturity as well. So yeah, you can build out your whole KPI matrix. Again, try not to boil the ocean with this one. It's so easy to go out and go, right, we're going to do KPIs for this. We're going to build a monthly dashboard report. But wait, hold on. You're doing a lot of stuff as it is. Start small and then you can gradually build it up, because hopefully you can start building some automated reports and automated controls as well to make it less time consuming on you, because initially it's going to be quite heavy and time consuming to show how you've met, what your KPIs are, what they've actually been that month, etc. So start small, start building it up. Make sure, you can automate some of the reports to make your life a lot easier as well. But yeah, it's very easy to get excited and just go mad on KPIs, and I do not recommend that you do that. Start small, build it up. No shame, no harm in doing that at all. But again, with a target operating model, you can add in all of your future KPIs that you wish to implement. There's absolutely no problem with that. Just make it very clear on the bits that you can do now for hardware asset management and what things are coming in the future as you mature, as you build up the team, as you get your processes and technologies implemented. So that's a very high level overview of a target operating model for hardware asset management. And we will go into more detail into a TOM in another session, looking at all the key areas and how you can actually build one for you guys, you personally, how you can actually build a target operating model to meet your organization's requirements.